know, he's a real good player, Tom Ford. He'll be wanting to get up there.
Well, that one, as I mentioned, you can watch the conclusion of it on the Eurosport player. It looks like the defending champion may be going out. We don't know. We'll, of course, keep you up to date with that if you don't watch and you stick with this one. It should be a fascinating encounter. It's Luca Brecel against 2 times champion of the world, Mark Williams. Neil Foulds is on his way to the commentary box, where Phil Studd is waiting for him. Afternoon, Phil.
Afternoon, Andy. Yeah, I think this is a match to savour, isn't it? Because both players have been in terrific form this year, as you've already discussed. Brecel making the big breakthrough with his first ranking event title. The China Championship, big paycheck as well to go with it. He just seems to have that extra spring in his step now, that extra self-belief. But Williams has been a picture of consistency, a major semi-final, 3 other quarter-final appearances in ranking events this season. And as Jimmy mentioned, he won the 6 Reds as well. So, too close to call, I think. And it should be a cracker. The winner to play Jack Lazowski, and that will also be a cracker, whoever comes through. So plenty of snooker to look forward to in the days ahead. Lazowski having beaten Li Wan of China by 4 frames to 3. One of those 2 wins that Neil referenced by Williams over Brecel was this season at the Riga Masters. But of course, since then, Brecel has won the China Championship. So a different sort of beast now on the table, I think. And Williams will be aware of that. But a good opening red from one of the modern greats. And at the age of 42, clearly still very much enjoying the heat of battle. And knocking on the door, Neil, once again, of the top 16. You mentioned he's just outside, but with the consistency he's put together already this season, very much in with a chance of getting to Ali Pali and the Masters in the new year.
Yes, that's going to be the aim for him, isn't it? And he seems to be more accepting of the travelling. He's putting on Twitter that he's in various parts of the world, in Asia. And yes, he realises he's got to embrace it all.
5.
Even though he's been playing so many years, the appetite is there, and the experience is something that you just can't buy. That's why this is such an intriguing match. In some ways, the best match we've had, potentially. You really would struggle to pick a winner. I know that the various bookmakers, including the sponsors here, well, if they could find a favourite, it was a tiny favourite for
12.
Mark Williams. Everyone else, pick where you like. Too close to call.
13. $20. 21.
Williams got the better of David Grace pretty comfortably in the first round, 4 frames to 1. Brecel winning by a similar score against Ryan Day.
$28. 29.
Oh, I don't know if he's all that happy.
Thank you.
About the angle on the black. Probably a bit straight. He might have wanted to go into the bunch, but I don't think he can do from there. Now, marginal angle, very slight. Might have to play on the red out in the open play. Not in the perfect place either. That's as good as he could have hoped for.
36. 37. 42. Three.
Never going to be sure of where he finished there. It's possible he could cut the black in, but even then, probably a time to play safe. As you can see, it does go, but the cue will be rushing all around the table. He could miss the pot. One thing has been the feature in Luca Brecel's improvement recently is that I've noticed the amount of times he's been 40, 50, 60 behind in a frame, and he's mopped up to pinch it on the last couple of balls, and they are the ones that hurt your opponent. Mark won't want that to happen in the first frame of this match. Well, he played to pot it, but the cue ball was always heading in one direction. That's for safety. I think that's a good shot.
And a handy opening contribution from Williams, a 43-point lead. One of the other remarkable aspects of Brecel's season to date is that he's played 10 final frame deciders and won all 10. That must tell us something about his resilience, Neil.
Yes, he's been raising his game for those. There are a few rough edges still in his game, but say they might get exposed today if Mark Williams plays to his obvious potential. Mark's having a go at this one, I think, into the left corner. Oh, lucky. He knew that the black was covering the opposite pocket. That's where he's a canny player. And to play a shot like that and not do too much damage. Could be a red to the middle pocket, but not easy. He's not quite settled in yet. Hit it very hard. Well, he's certainly hampered here. Playing this red, the yellow, and referee Ben Williams on top of the situation. Very close to his cue. Oh, that's turned out to be lucky. When he first got the second kiss on the red, I wondered if he was going to stick it. Interesting watching Judd Trump, wasn't it? He looks the man to beat. From what I saw earlier, the recent form and the way he played against Mark Joyce in the match that's gone before this one kind of sets the standard for everyone else, isn't it? You've got to raise your game. It's only best of 7, but goodness, he was impressive.
Yes, I think Trump is very keen to try and put together back-to-back ranking event titles. It's very tough to do in the modern era in particular, something he hasn't yet done. And of course, he was the standout player, wasn't he, in terms of consistency in the home nations last season. 2 runners-up and a semi-final. Of course, he didn't enter the other one, so tremendous consistency in the home nations.
Which means he's never lost a best of 7 yet in the home nations. 14 out of 14 of them took them doing. Well, at the moment, that man is keeping the young Belgian bullet, as he's known, very quiet here. And that's how it's got to stay, I think. Because he's straining at the leash. You know he's trying to get in amongst them. One chance. And there is a red available here, and it's tough. I think, again, safe to say he played that pretty well. To leave no easy pot if it didn't go in that he was playing. No problem with position had it gone in. Well, that was very thin. Well, again, wily old fox, Mark Williams, in the second time.
He's playing well enough at the moment to be a serious contender to lift the trophy this weekend, Williams, and it's been a while. He's won 18 ranking events, which is right up there with the very best in the history of the game, but he hasn't won one since the 2011 German Masters, so over 6 years ago now. Did pick up a European Tour event a few seasons back, but you'll certainly feel as though
60.
silverware is overdue.
Yes, and of course, he's won
17.
earlier in the season the 6 Reds, which was nice to win and with a good prize, and he also became World Seniors Champion a couple of years ago. The last time was actually played in his old status.
It's blue and another red for the frame.
Yeah, and that was really well played, wasn't it? What a great shot to finish in behind that red.
22.
He's
23.
just the kind of start he wanted. Just taken the sting out of the game a little bit. Brecel could have started so very well. Not had a look.
28. 29. Mark Williams, 29.
Well, no surprise to see. Oh, well, I was going to say no surprise to see
Mark
Brecel
Williams.
come to the table just to get a feel for things. He thought about it, but decided no, not a problem. I'll give you that one. So Mark Williams with the initial break of 43 and that run of 29, taking the opening frame. Score a point in the opener. Mark Williams using his wealth of experience to freeze out the young Belgian. Initial break of 43, setting up the frame for him. Talked about how impressive Judd Trump was earlier in his 4-0 whitewash of Mark Joyce. Well, the man who beat him to this title 12 months ago, Liang Wenbo, as you've heard already from Andy and the guys in the studio, in a bit of bother over on table 2. 3-1 down to Tom Ford, although Liang is 56 in front as I speak. In the frame, he needs to keep that match alive, so we'll keep you up to date. Close.
Very dangerous shot to play. I can understand what was in his mind. Maybe that he's not left anything easy. But, of course, he has to attack because that's his real strength.
A couple of other wins to bring you in recent times. Kyron Wilson through 4-0 against Mike Dunn, and a good win for Hossein Fafai over Zhou Jintong, 4 frames to 2.
That was the figure-8 safety shot, whipping the cue ball around the angles. Which are not easy to play on these super fine cloths, but he managed it. But he has left a red on, but it's a pressure shot. Not necessarily any hiding place if this doesn't go in for Mark Williams. Might be able to get the cue ball back, this touch and go. Well, once you pot it, really, you almost don't want it to go down the table. That's excellent. When we see it again, we'll realise he really had to pot this. So he's in first again, and just dominating all aspects of the game
8.
so far. Although, of course, even though it's only a best of 7, there's quite a long way to go.
9.
Well, it always
Williams,
looked high,
9.
didn't it? That's just carelessness, you've got to think.
That's a bad miss for no obvious reason. We do think it might drift up a touch there, but it was never in, that one. And it's not anything but Mark's own fault.
1.
I mean, they do occasionally drop off the far jaw, but he overcut it, essentially, and that was never going to find its way in. Came completely out of the blue as well.
Yeah, Williams would have fancied freezing Luca Brecel out for the second straight frame there.
That looks all right. Choices here into either corner. I know he's really good at punish. It's the one part of snooker where if you miss an easy ball, you sit in your chair and you know that you've made an error. And you need time to make to sit and think about it. And it hurts more what Luca Brecel has got to achieve here.
Nine.
Yeah, once again, so many options available to him. It's hard to imagine him not being on a red, even though this might not be the one he wanted.
12.
And I think it's pretty safe to say, despite all his success this season, he's right up there on the one-year list. That his one weakness is his control of the cue ball. He's not inch perfect, as other players at the top level are. Exactly have the cue ball on the string, as we call it. But he makes up for it in the way he pots.
We've spoken about this before, but you can see that Brecel has quite a long bridge, and I know that Ronnie O'Sullivan felt that that was an area he might address to perhaps improve his control a notch or two.
Well, yes, I agree. Technically, that's the case. I think maybe somewhere down the line, if he lost his form, he might look at that. For now, make haste. But the thing is, he just played the last shot. For some reason, he's not entirely happy where he's finished. Looks to me the blue looks all right. Might have to play a little cannon, stop the cue ball going far, but it doesn't look too bad. It's taken a while. That's fine. Gentle cannon on the pink, exactly what he played.
17.
Can play left-handed. I thought he might do that on this shot, but using the rest.
Okay. 18.
Not got himself in prime position just yet. One shot away. Seal. But there's a real gift in the way he hits the ball. But pacily. Very attacking player.
24.
It seems to be a more common phenomenon, doesn't it? The ability for the
25.
top pros to play both left and right-handed. I guess the undisputed champion in that regard has to be the aforementioned Ronnie O'Sullivan. Judd Trump pretty adept as well, Neil. Who else would be up there?
One or two others, not to the extent of O'Sullivan, who you could argue if he could only ever play left-handed again, he'd still win quite a lot of matches. Going back, players used to play left-handed because if they were right-handed or with their opposite hand because they couldn't use the rest. And going back to Dennis Taylor, not a good rest player. I think some of the players now do it just because they can do it. Pretty good with the rest as well. But O'Sullivan is outstanding. Brecel has made centuries left-handed. I know that. But he's not going to make a century with either hand.
Luca Brecel.
On that visit.
32.
32, but also just underlining the point that occasionally his cue ball is not under perfect control.
One.
I was never sure about that one because it was basically the wrong part of the pocket that it was going in off. Sometimes they can rattle and stay there. So you feel this big point in the match in that Brecel has been in with a good chance and he's not really done a lot of damage.
8. 9. 16. 17.
Tried to slip the cue ball past those two reds. And then into the left-hand one. Next shot, not so easy. Can just get to this one. It's be tight, though, because he's now looked at it twice. It's much easier than anything else that he's got available to him. All of a sudden, he's changed his mind. It doesn't go. Playing a double here.
Mark Williams, 23.
Well, he could have pushed that red up and down the table and not gone for the pot. And in doing so, he's likely to get punished, so there was an argument not to take the red on there. Easy when you miss, of course, to say that.
One.
But it comes ultimately down to percentages. If you play a shot and you're not more than 50% likely to get it, then you think, well, if I miss it, am I going to lose the game? The answer is yes. Well, it's worth playing in the safety shot. It was only the pace that allowed that one to drop.
Five. Six.
play on that red, I don't think
12.
if you could put the ball anywhere with your hand, it would be any different to where it's finished. Choice of reds to the left middle as well.
Thirteen.
Slightly tricky. Going over the top of
19.
the red if he plays the one to the middle, or probably he playing this one the same. He's in between about 2 or 3 shots here. It's not easy. If he plays this red to the right corner, it's one he could easily leave over the pocket. Play it with a lot of care and attention. Well played. Question of stunning across now behind the other red, and he'll be 2-0 up. He gets this shot right. That was a little tense. I don't know what he played there. It certainly wasn't what he got.
27.
And frame ball is going to be a tougher one. He's got the yellow in his favour, and he's happy that it's there. Should he miss this and give a chance for the clearance? Very well played indeed, and very cleverly played. Look at that. He wasn't even going to stick the red, and he missed it.
He's always been quite brilliant from long range, Williams. One of the best of all time. Such an asset to have. And he's got the tactical nous to go with it. So very much in control of this match in the early stages.
Yeah, and his decisions here, he could roll up behind the black, or he could try and pot the black for the 7 points up into the top left-hand pocket. I think the roll-up's probably best.
Mark Williams, 28.
And already a snooker is required. I like the way he played this red, Philip. Just the cue ball coming back behind the black was the real bonus.
Good hit from Brecel, but he's got work to do here. Needs a snooker. Hasn't really got going, has he?
No, and he got down and hit that very quickly, didn't he? He literally got out of his chair and given it an almighty whack.
Well, you can see Williams is frustrated because he'd back himself probably 9 times out of 10 to pot that.
Well, he knows, after all his years of experience as a professional for 25 years, that one snooker at this level does not guarantee that you win a frame. And these are the ones that can hurt. He knows the situation. He's not safe yet. In behind the black would be the plan. It's not perfectly judged. I think Williams be relieved there.
Liang Wenbo did win the 5th frame, by the way, on table 2 against Tom Ford, so the defending champion still alive and kicking, 3-2 behind now.
There is Snooker, but he should be okay here, either directly off the bottom cushion. 1 or 2 cushions is always going to be the way. I think the Snookers that Brecel has got to get need to be slightly more difficult than that one. And that is an absolute blinder. And what he needs is a gap behind the yellow here that Mark might just slip round. And there certainly is the chance he could go behind this yellow. Got to be very careful here.
Foul.
Hit the pink on the way through. Goodness me, what a mistake.
And what a change in the blink of an eye in the balance of power of this frame. Nothing safe. Brecel now arguably favourite to take it.
I think Mark got down and played that quite quickly. Okay, you could see it was a difficult snooker.
Two.
And that is not bad.
Well, how quickly things can change. Williams was looking nailed on for 2-0. He's played well so far today, but Brecel with a great chance now to level, but he's missed the green.
Brecel, 2.
Well, he was stretching a little bit. He's got the snooker, which was very much second prize. It's in the balance now. I think both players will have regrets if they lose it, for sure. Must concentrate on getting the object ball safe here, more than anything else. Want the best of shots. This is a really good shot this time. As I say, the priority was always getting the object ball safe, and that was excellent. There's an edge to this frame now. You can sense it between these two players.
Now, players stopped, so I can only assume something significant is happening on table 2. Could we be in maximum land?
Well, we might be worth having a little look across, because Mark's not going to play any shots.
Liang Wenbo is at the table, I can tell you.
Yes. So he's sure to be on a maximum here, otherwise they wouldn't have stopped. Let's see if we can get across, because it's getting very interesting. It's £40,000, and we're on the other table. It's worth seeing, Philip.
It certainly is. That would be a very handsome bonus for Liang, who of course is fighting here to keep his English Open title defence alive. 3-2 down.
Yeah, and it's a question of whether he can get on this red. Well, it goes. Wow, what a moment this would be. And it reminds me, with the play stopped on the main table, of
112.
the Cliff Thorburn 147, when his countryman Bill Werbeneck was peering over the partition for 2 reasons. A, they'd like to see it, and B, they wouldn't want to be put off by a huge roar on an important shot. So the drama in multi-table setups is always there, isn't it?
Remember, there hasn't been a 147 break this season. That's why the rolling £5,000 prize has built up to the £40,000 mark.
And that is absolutely perfect to get up to the yellow. This is a little bit of tension that we didn't know much about on the main table, but it's wonderful.
3-1 down Liang was, remember. Tom Ford was playing exceptionally well. You've got to think that only the tension of the moment can deny him here. He's done the clearance of the colours like this thousands and thousands of times before. But not for £40,000 all that often.
25.
This is always the last difficult shot, if you like, if you get the right side of the blue, and that looks okay. Pink's never going to be on its spot in a 147 attempt, but it's very close to it. And he's a left-hander, so despite the fact that he played that very tentatively, he's still got a shot, and those two boys will be willing him on.
Yeah, that could have been better, couldn't it? This is missable for sure.
How does he play it? That's the next question. Does he play it? Can he reach it? And if he doesn't find that he can, does he screw it in, or does he play around two cushions for the black? You're right, it's a tough one.
Come on! Come on!
Well, that's what it means to him. It was a terrific pressure pot. Don't get ahead of yourself, Liang. You haven't potted the black yet, but this for a £40,000 bonus. Oh, what a moment for Liang Wenbo. Champion here 12 months ago. He's forced a deciding frame against Tom Ford, but much more importantly, he's made the first 147 of the 2017-18 season.
Well, how about that? How about that? Still, the show must go on the main table, but that was just wonderful, wasn't it? Isn't that why we love snooker, Philip?
And you've got to love Liang's celebrations, haven't you? Memories of the moment that he clinched the title last year against Judd Trump, doing a merry jig across the auditorium, even before he potted match ball, and he did exactly the same with the 147 there. But what guts he showed on that pink, Neil. That was eminently missable under pressure.
It really was. It was quite a wonderful moment. And it is the 132nd in the history of the game. The last was on the 6th of April, so we had a little bit of a wait for it, but wasn't it worth waiting
Foul.
for?
A miss.
Well, in the meantime...
Count Williams 5.
It's quite a glaring error to make.
Yeah, not least because the best Brecel can now do is tie.
It's not called a miss, but he wouldn't have taken it anyway, so there's no more debate there with this green on. Goodness, he can tie the frame here, you know. We might be in for a little drama of our own. Not quite 147 drama, but something else.
Well, what a start to the third day's play here in Barnsley. We've seen Judd Trump race past Mark Joyce with a brilliant performance. We've seen a 147, and we've seen quite a bit of drama in this frame, which is still up for grabs, and it's an important one, isn't it? The difference between 2-0 and 1 apiece. Brecel really hasn't settled yet, but if he can pinch this frame, having been so close to losing it, then he can relax and forget about what's gone before.
Yes. And the shot will be to get on the blue, and it's not going to be easy.
7.
No, not easy at all. Just one thing, Liang Wenbo did make one actually 9 years ago, almost not quite to the day, but in October of 2008. So it's his second in professional play, but not as valuable as this one.
Yeah, and the really impressive thing about that pink was that he knew as soon as he hit the blue that he hadn't cued it in the way he wanted, but he didn't in any way let his concentration falter. Just got down, knocked in the blue, knocked in the pink, knocked in the black, and made a bit of history.
He's a boy, though, isn't he? Fancy celebrating in the way that he did on the... And he was the same when he won this event 12 months ago. He was actually celebrating before he potted match ball.
Yep.
Amazing character. And what a shot that is.
5.
He's pushed the black safe.
It's all happening, isn't it?
It really is.
Brecel, remember, needs pink and black to force a tie-break black in this second frame. Wow, what a shot. What a shot.
Yeah, the pink was one thing, but the cannon was even better, and that's made him feel a little ill, I think. Well, it's a deciding, it's a respot. So frame's not over. It's a respotted black.
Wow. It's almost as though Brecel has been inspired by Liang Wenbo's heroics next door, because that was quite sensational, the pink and position on the black. But he still hasn't won the frame. It's still up for grabs. What will Williams do with this black? Side cushion. Seems to be the way to go these days. Could have played it a bit better.
Well, he might have left a little cocked hat double here to the right middle. It's a shot that is on if he fancies it. Not saying he'll get it, but it's a possibility that he could pop this to the right middle if he thinks of it. He's not played that, but he's played a very good shot here. That is a great shot. His priority, get the object ball on the cushion. Brilliant. Well, this is an awkward one as well. Not a nice shot in this. Gone for the double. Get the feeling that if Mark Williams was to lose his frame, I mean, not only did Luca need a snooker, but when he got to the green, he was a comfortable green to the middle. We're seeing all the best in snooker here in the last 10 minutes. A 1-4-7, and also a real tactical battle on a respotted black on the other table. And that's also a very fine shot. It really is brilliant.
This is tough for Williams. That black is glued to the cushion. Cue ball on the side cushion. He's got to get this right. Where's the black? Where's the black? Oh, my goodness me. What a finish to a thrilling passage of play on tables 1 and 2. And Williams, who nearly threw that frame away, has somehow got over the line to double his lead to 2-0. Mark Williams somehow 2-0 up. Had numerous chances to put away the second frame before eventually fluking the black the full length of the table after what seemed like a brilliant safety from Luca Brecel on the tie-break black. Brecel having potted a brilliant pink and black to force the respot. You just get the feeling that that 1-4-7 that we saw just now next door from Liang Wenbo has got Luca Brecel's adrenaline levels redlining, and maybe just needs to rein it in a little bit here, because he's in a spot of bother in a race to 4, 2-0 down.
Well, he is, and as I said just before the 1-4-7 rudely interrupted this match, that whoever lost the second frame, it was going to hurt them, given that they both had big chances to win it.
Nine.
Mark Williams, of course, is no stranger to the maximum break. He made a very lucrative one at the Crucible a
16.
few years ago, back in the days when the prizes for the
17.
perfect break were, well, higher in some cases than winning a tournament. Of course, they're so commonplace now, comparatively speaking, that for insurance reasons, the prizes have had to be dramatically lowered.
24. 25.
Could go into the bunch here. A couple of sticking out reds, but he'll need to get this pack open, and this is the perfect angle to do so. That's okay. And probably better off playing up the table anyway.
32.
Staying on the black, hasn't quite got the same sort of feel to it now, is it? £40,000 is in the hands of Leanne
33.
Wenbo. There's a match to win on this table.
Yeah, £161,000 Mark Williams banked for making the maximum at the Crucible back in 2005.
Thirty-eight.
Been a really terrific afternoon of snooker without Judd Trump playing, and now all this goes into the bunch here, and he's not
39.
quite got 3 of them, but I think he's got centre-ball striking. He plays the pink.
Up very quickly there. He knew he hadn't got it right.
39.
And he also knew he was leaving an easy starter for Brecel. Well, this feels like a must-win frame.
1.
Hard to see Williams losing from 3-0 to the good, so Brecel really needs to get his concentration to the max here. Do some damage.
Eight. Nine.
Get the feeling that he really needs this visit to be a telling one.
16. 17.
I guess the challenge for Liang on table 2 is to actually try and forget that maximum break, because he's still got a match to win to keep his title defence alive against Tom Ford, and that's not easy, is it? I remember when
24.
Kirk Stevens made his 147 in that thrilling match against Jimmy at the Masters in '84.
25.
Would obviously have been on a high for some time afterwards, and the whirlwind responded with a century of his own to win the match. So that's a challenge in itself for Liang to get his feet back on the ground.
$32.
He's only got the balls in good position to go on and win the frame. 4 reds in the middle of the table, and he'll still need the other one.
33.
But he's a right-handed player, and there's no obvious reason why he shouldn't do so.
$40. $41. $46.
Well, not quite as intended, I don't think, but no damage.
47. 52.
First half century of the match.
Yes, and if he's got an angle on this black, he could stun him behind the red. Yes, it looks okay, actually. Red. And the black would be
60.
enough, but he might go out for a lower value colour. I mean, it's not easy to run through on the black, and he'd probably like to go blue-yellow anyway. He might just take the risk and play on something else. If he pots the blue, there's 27 in it.
61.
Which means, of course, that Mark could tie and we'd have a second re-rack, but who's to say he won't pot it anyway after this blue. Second re-spot, I mean.
Just the yellow then, it's not
66.
straightforward. And he's missed it.
Luca Brecel, 66.
Well,
Thank you.
I don't know whether Mark can get through to this or not. No, is the answer. Goodness me, look at that. I don't know if he played it exactly like that. If he did, it was a mighty shot. And this, as far as snookers go, is horrible.
Well, I don't think Luca thinks he did it and deliberately, and I think that reaction from Williams confirms that it wasn't quite as intended, but he'll take it.
It's good, for one thing, that there's only 27 in this, not 26, because they won't call a miss here if he misses, which I think there's every chance he will miss this, because when your opponent can tie, it's not deemed an advantage to have a miss. Not sure if I agree with the rule, but that is the rule. Well, this is a wonderful effort. Very, very unfortunate.
Foul. Mark Williams, 7.
And no miss rightly called.
So Williams can now win, as opposed to just tie.
Yeah, and he might chip the black out into play here, because he needs the lot. I think that would be the sensible shot, to get the black just away from the cushion. Well, that was a terrible shot. He's so lucky not to go in off. He's a bit straight on this. About the best he could have achieved with that angle. It's amazing that he can still win this frame. For all the world, like he was dead and buried at one point. Luca had a chance on the yellow to put the frame safe, missed it. Now there's only 18 in this. What a shot. What a shot that is. So accurate you have to be. That angle.
Nine.
Well, what he needs is to make sure he's not straight on the pink, because he'll never get on the black if he is. He needs something of an angle. Needs the bounce off
14.
the cushion. That's perfect. It's not an easy shot, but at least he comes towards the black if it does go in. It comes down towards, but not on the black. It's not a re spot, but it's the next best thing. Black will fight. Both players will get shots at it.
What a huge frame for Luca Brecel.
20.
He loses it, having been so close to winning it. It's going to have not an impossible task, but an exceptionally difficult one. If he can win it, it's right back in the mix.
Well, this really is the kind of shot that he wouldn't know what to do here. The pot down the cushion. The Mark could get it, for sure. He's a great potter, but there's also a pretty solid safety option of getting the black all around the table. But he looked at the potting angle, so giving it some consideration.
It's one of those where if you miss, it's hard to see him not leaving it, so he didn't go for it.
I think that's sensible. As I say, he always had this shot available to him, and the pot was, well, maybe something he'd have taken on a few years ago, but he's very experienced these days. He knows the pressure's on this man.
Wow. What a match this has been. What a crazy half hour of snooker we've seen wherever we've looked here at the Barnsley Metrodome on tables 1 and 2. Luca Brecel back in the mix then. Halves the deficit to 2-1. Wembo threatening to turn around a 3-1 deficit as well to keep his English Open title defence going. And here we've seen a couple of highly dramatic frames decided on the black. The second on a tie-break black, a re-spotted black, and the one just now by Luca Brecel on the final black for 2-1. And I think on the balance of play, Neil, you'd have to say that 2-1 is a rather fairer reflection of what we've seen. 3-0 would have been harsh on Brecel.
It's been brilliant, hasn't it? It's been absolutely superb this afternoon snooker. And as you say, I think the 3-0 were two black ball fights where both players get shots. That would have been extremely tough to take. We've got a real game on our hands here. And we've had one on the other table, and often players, when they make a 1-4-7, will lose the next frame, which of course would be the match for Liang, but he looks like he's got his composure back, doesn't it? He's on the brink.
22 in front, so he only needs the yellow and the green.
8.
And what an afternoon it's been for him. A very lucrative one. 40,000 pounds, of course, for the maximum. And a chance to maintain his title defence. But having won frame 3, Luca Brecel suddenly with a spring back in his step.
16. 17.
Yes, I can see, looking over at the other table, a big grin from Liang Wenbo. And the job is done, and he must be thrilled. What an afternoon for him.
24.
Yes, a very satisfactory afternoon's
25.
work from Liang Wenbo. And if you haven't caught the maximum break, well, I'm sure we'll give you opportunities to relive the highlights later here on Eurosport and Quest. But I can tell you the pink, the final pink, was particularly impressive because he didn't get prime position on it.
32.
And it was a terrific pot. And of course, he followed it up with the black. And the celebration was almost as memorable as the break.
Yes, it really was a wonderful moment. The pot and then what followed.
He's a passionate guy.
33.
Nothing wrong with that, by the way. Good to see.
This time he overruns. He's on the red, but not ideally.
40.
Yeah, it's never looked quite right, that shot, did it? Always thought he'd missed it.
Luca Brecel.
Handy
40.
lead. Get the feeling this is a match that really could go right down to the last couple of shots. It looks tight between them. Very contrasting styles. Both players playing some good stuff.
Thank you.
Well, it's not a very good kiss on the ball colour. And Mark Williams with a chance at range. He's checked to see if the black will pot to the left corner, which means it'll be an easy follow-up to the red. It was available. Because the red will take some getting. Got a slight angle on it. Oh, that's a great shot. I don't think he went in the left corner. Certainly maybe too much angle, but that, you won't see a ball struck better all week than that.
And a great chance to get right back into this fourth frame.
Just perfectly played this. The way the cue ball did exactly what he wanted to after the pot went in.
9.
So he can certainly get himself right back into the frame, and who knows from here, because the red that he potted will certainly give him a real buzz. Hitting the ball perfectly.
16. 17. $24. 25. 32. 33.
It's great to see Williams cueing this well again, isn't it?
41.
Talked about class being permanent, form temporary. Of course, he's enjoyed 2 spells at world #1, and when he returned to the top of the rankings tree, it was after, at one stage, looking like he might fall out of the top 32. He'd lost his way a bit. He wasn't practicing as he might have done, but he got his
47.
mojo back. Found his desire again, and, well, he's so capable.
48.
And every chance of breaking back into the game's elite, but it's not gone to plan.
It's a terrible shot. It comes from nowhere again, because it's a pretty regulation positional shot from red to blue. And that will encourage Luca Brecel, because he probably thought that he'd
Mark Williams.
go 3-1
48.
down there. Don't know what happened. Honestly, I really don't know what happened. And also, I know that that black in the previous frame, Philip, I think Mark Williams was quite pleased to leave it where he had.
Oh, terrific pot from Brecel, it really was. I mean, he does go for it, we know. And of course, Williams had refused a very difficult pot at the black himself, which seemed a sensible move at the time. Of course, had he known what Brecel was going to do, he'd have taken that tricky cut on, but hindsight is a wonderful thing. It's a great pot from the Belgian. And that's a pretty handy pot from Williams. Well, it's been a compelling match, this, hasn't it?
Very interesting afternoon snooker. It's been a good match, and the next shot might be in behind a colour. Yep.
Mark Williams,
The
1.
pressure now put right back on Luca Brecel.
9 the difference, 43 on.
He'll get another chance at that.
Foul and a
So,
miss. Mark Williams, 4.
it's going to be called a miss all day long. Interesting way he's going. Looks like he's trying to hit one cushion, bottom half of the red. If that's what he is trying, it's an extremely difficult shot.
Okay. Mark.
If he hits the wrong side of it, then because he just pushes the red towards the right corner. He could be here a while on this shot, you know.
Foul and a miss. Mark Williams, 4.
I guess he got slightly closer, but the tiniest of adjustments is what's needed.
Yeah. Yeah.
But honestly, that is a first-class shot. I know it cost him 8 points. It really was good.
Luca Brecel's pot success is down at 82%, which is below par for him, but all that really matters is this 4th frame. If he can win it, then it's as you were. We're level again. It's a best of 3. Williams at 90. That's the benchmark, really, for these top pros. Williams winning the safety battles at the moment, which is no great surprise. But you can't take your eyes off it. Winner, remember, to play Jack Lazowski in the round of 32.
Well, both reds on cushions, but that really makes no difference because the mark is 17 in front. He needs both reds himself. He doesn't really gain too much an advantage from that. he's covered both reds. He's quite lucky. And I think Luca, judging by the look on his face, is nonplussed by that. He's happy enough. Could never have played that shot knowing he would cover them both. Got to play the red in open play though.
Foul and a miss. Mark Williams 4.
He needs to hit this, and the reason for that is if it gets to the point where he plays a couple more fouls, then Mark will only need the second last red, the red in the open. He won't need the safe one, so he needs to hit this soon. Whatever happens, he just needs to make contact. That's a good shot, second time.
Mighty close. Got right in the jaws of the pocket, this one.
I didn't really want the blue finishing where it has. Now, what's he going to do here? Yellow's an obvious shot to head down towards the red. He may even be able to play the calendar red out. If that's in his mind. Of course, he's a right-hander and he can play on the red. Don't see any great advantage in playing the snooker. He's got to surely pot this. Because he could develop the red and clear up, essentially. His options are knock it out. Any playing behind this, I'm most surprised. I don't know what he's hoping to achieve.
Foul.
Crikey.
Luca Brecel 1.
Wow.
Mark Williams 4. He never moved.
Oh dear. Well, I already thought it was a bad idea. I think it's a worse idea now, of course.
Well, I think
Luca thought he hit it.
Yeah, he thought he got there, didn't he? You heard Ben Williams, our referee, say it never moved.
I wonder if we can find out. Let's have a look.
You won't want that one back.
What an amazing game of snooker this has been. Every frame.
I think Williams was right, by the way. Don't think it did reach the yellow.
Foul.
Goodness me.
Oh, yes, there's foul that's a little bit easier to detect, isn't it, that last one?
3 ball.
And a free ball as well. So another twist in this eventful tale.
Green ball.
17 the difference, still 35 there. The green is an extra red.
Doesn't want to play on the black here if he can avoid it. Because he wants the black there when he pots the last red. It's easier to pot the red with the black at the hand.
1.
He could not have played it any better. It's a brilliant shot, it really is. Another twist.
Five.
That is a bad angle. He's got cue power, but he'll need it here. It's hard to get onto the yellow into the top left pocket with the brown where it is. Well, that's honestly a terrific shot to finish there. I know he's not perfectly on the yellow, but goodness, what a shot. He's a tremendously skillful player.
14.
Blue that was pushed into a slightly safer position now becomes potentially significant.
17.
Yeah, and I wouldn't... If he's got a shot to pop the blue into the top right, you know, he's just the sort of player who might play it left-handed.
21.
He's going for the safe option, the rest. Either way, it's tough.
Luca Brecel, 21.
And worse than missing it,
Okay.
he's left it.
And all of these frames could have gone the other way that we've seen. And this one, Williams found another chance.
Needs the 3 balls. Ooh. It rattled, but it dropped.
$11.
Well, it really has been a roller coaster, this match, and you can't take your eyes off it. Another black ball finish, and this time it's Mark Williams who has the last word. And that's a hammer blow for Luca Brecel, who had the chance to put 3 of them going to Mark Williams, who's now 1 frame away from a place in the round of 32 here at the English Open, live from the Barnsley Metrodome. Luca Brecel had the chance to steal. Mr. Tricky Blue into the green pocket, left it for Williams, and Williams potted the blue, the pink and the black. But the way this match has gone, Neil, it's been anything but predictable, and you wouldn't bet against final frame decider even now.
No, it's been a great day. Got a message actually a few moments ago from Roger Lee, who on the Heritage Rooms at the Crucible for many years, great historian of the game. He said it's one of the great days of television snooker, and he's seen a few as Roger, so that's praise. He can footage of the great Joe Davis and everything. He thinks today's a great day. He's right, it has been.
Yes, if you are just joining us, where have you been? We've had a 147. Liang Wenbo pocketing a £40,000 bonus. The £5,000 prize rolling over again and again this season because there hadn't been a maximum during this campaign. Did it in dramatic circumstances, Tricky pink with the rest. Wild celebration before he potted the decisive black, but that went in as well. And the icing on the cake for the defending champion. He was 3-1 down to Tom Ford, recovered to win 4-3, so the title defence continues.
Now you feel there certainly is still mileage in this game. We know that Luca must be disappointed somehow to be 3-1 down. Both players probably need to take a second glance at the scoreboard to see quite how it's arrived at this. It's been truly so different. Except for the first frame. The 3 really were a spin of a coin. First one was a very convincing one for Mark Williams. I think that's what you're always going to get with Luca Brecel. A little bit of unpredictability, and people will say, well, he's a bit loose, but listen, he won his first ranking event recently, and he's been in the form of his life. And another one, you could say, well, that's how he plays the game. He can never change that, and he mustn't try to.
Yes, and he did it in style as well. He came from behind to beat Ronnie O'Sullivan in the quarterfinals, then beat Li Hang of China, who's been in good form this season by the odd frame, and outplayed Sean Murphy in the title match. So 3 impressive scalps to win your first major.
8. 9. Thank you.
very interesting decision to go into them. I think he was on a red, but it's a gamble that's paid off. He got a lot of power on this. The cue ball really arced in and through the bunch for a second time. He gets a lot of zip on the ball.
Luca
What a
Brecel,
miss after all
16.
that. I know he was queuing awkwardly. Never really felt he'd miss it. He's doing nothing with this. Real shame after the shot before.
Just underway on table 2, John Higgins, runner-up in the Scottish Open to Marco Fu in the home nations last season up against Matt Selt. Higgins has already won a ranking title this season, of course, the Indian Open, to move into second in the all-time list behind Stephen Hendry on 29, ahead of Messrs O'Sullivan and Davis. And this, you've got to think, already there's a chance for Mark Williams to seal victory. Lots to do, but he's done it many times before.
Six. Seven.
One of Williams' many assets has always been that cucumber cool temperament of his in the pressure moments. Demonstrated that when he won his 2 world titles. He was a long way behind Matthew Stevens the first time, came back to win.
14.
And the second time it was the other way round. He was miles ahead against Ken Doherty. Doherty recovered
15.
from a huge deficit to get to 16 all, but then Williams just came again to win the last 2 frames for his second world crown. Steve Davis used to say that the key to this game is to play as though it doesn't matter when it means everything.
22.
I think Williams has taken that maxim very much to heart down the years. That's why he's been so successful.
23.
Yeah, we've had some fairly unusual ends to the last 3 frames. And I think Mark Williams wants this one to be more formal and regulation. Just close out the match. Any
31.
further twists and turns.
And if Williams does seal the deal here, hashtag Home Nations, if you've got any questions for the former 2-time World, UK and Masters winner. Plenty to talk about in this match. Where to begin, really? It's all happened.
38.
And of course they halted play at one stage to see the completion of the maximum, so I don't think either of these players will forget this match in a hurry, whatever happens from here on in.
$39.
I can tell you that Stuart Bingham will be next on against Fang, another former world champion, doing battle today. Ronnie O'Sullivan this evening. Another great day snooker. Judd Trump in electric form earlier, looking for back-to-back ranking titles.
45.
In between shots, the red to the middle is on, but it's thin, and controlling the cue ball is not easy. He's played that really well. It's the right amount of bite on the cue ball to make it that cushion and finish perfectly on the black. Yes, he knows that this is the chance. He doesn't really want any lapses in concentration here. We will need some of the reds in the middle of the table, though, to add an open play. Do not take him over the line. 3 reds next to each other, and the red behind the black. They're all still a very big part of this frame.
54.
All of these points, of course, the result of Luca Brecel missing pretty elementary red to left centre, just perhaps got a bit careless. That will be a painful way to lose.
Yes, this red, it was awkward queuing,
58.
but he never really believed he would miss it. He's just overhit that. Luca not entirely out of the match just yet. Coming away from the high-value colours in potting this. Oh, he's missed it.
Mark Williams, 58.
So the miss from Brecel, not decisive. A handy lead for Williams for sure. In fact, his first half century of the match. 42 the lead, 67 on the table.
Well, Mark could get the advantage with his hand on the table, cue ball on near the bulk line, means that if he gets his safety shot right, he could really put Luca Brecel in trouble. And the figure-8 safety shot, swinging the cue ball in behind. He's hoping the brown, but didn't quite enough on that. Won't be too disappointed that he's put a couple of reds safe either. 42-point lead. That's in his favour. Well, that's what he's capable of, isn't it? Out of the blue, knocking one of those in, which never even hit a jaw.
Fearless.
Getting down for a red is not easy, though, either. Cue ball twice across here. It's a good effort. It's an excellent shot.
3. 4.
Just can't afford any more mistakes from here. That's the problem he's got. Still 38 behind. One more mistake and it could be the end of match. But we know he's capable of clearing these. I've seen him do it this season.
11.
Right when he needs it most. He's not going to get too far ahead of himself. He needs to concentrate on the next couple of shots.
Thank you.
I think he's a bit straight on this black. He's going to struggle to play on the red up the table. He's just got enough to get onto the red along the cushion. He's a big shot now.
$19.
Well, he played it
Luca
with
Brecel,
pace to
19.
get onto the black in the same pocket, and if he'd have played it slower, I think he'd have got it. Never in. It's a good tactical shot because now Mark's forced to take the safer red out. Well, he's delighted, and this really is the last hope. Brecel has got to hit a red and leave it safe. And that is a difficult ask. It's a brilliant shot. It's an absolutely first-class escape.
And the speed at which he played it. Didn't give it a lot of thought, but couldn't have played it any better.
It was almost like he wanted the shot over with, wasn't it? He was sort of, he knew that the consequences of going wrong were bad. He thought, I'll just play it quickly and hope for the best. Superb. Keeps him in the match.
Williams is going to need the remaining reds to clinch this match. Might be thrilled with that one.
Yes, he certainly had to find the baulk cushion there. Luca Brecel just getting up from his chair and watching that shot from behind Mark. Quite unusual to see a player do that. He's very keen to see it firsthand. The problem here is the red. Has he left it? Has he left it or not? He's going to play a little swerve, I think. A bit of left-hand side.
One.
Played it well enough. Well, this is the moment for Mark Williams to put this match away.
24 in front. So just this green and the red. Brecel will need snookers.
Four.
What a match it's been. Full of drama. And that should be the key moment for Mark Williams. It's a match that's been rather closer than the scoreline is going to suggest. Luca Brecel not at his best today, but he's had his moments of brilliance. But there have been errors on both sides. There have been flukes. There have been black ball finishes aplenty.
10.
Including a respotted black. And ultimately, Mark Williams has
12.
made it 3 wins out of 3 against the new China Championship winner. So not to be for Brecel at the English Open this year. Williams eyeing his first ranking
Williams,
title
12.
since 2011. Brecel is going to continue. The difference is 35, 25 on, so 3 snookers required. Tall order, to put it mildly. And he's had enough. Well, that ends a dramatic match, a very watchable match. So many talking points, and Mark Williams will be delighted. He's come out on top using his wealth of experience to get the better of Luca Brecel. He's playing very well again, is Williams, in his 43rd year. He's through to the round of 32 by 4 frames to 1.